everybody. Welcome to RiverCity-Media's halftime show of the DeKalb County Bands. This week's guest is Mr. Timothy Spears of the Geraldine Bulldogs. My co-host, of course, is Mr. Patrick Roselle, the band director and president of the DeKalb County Band Association and the band director at Sylvania as well. So, first of all, Timothy, thanks for joining us and welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Looking forward to finding out what the Bulldogs got going on. And I guess my first question will be, are y'all the Marching Bulldogs? Or y'all the Purple Bulldogs? What's a technical band name?
We are the Purple Prod is our band name, and I was told when I first got here that I was not allowed to change it, and I don't have any intentions on changing it. It's different, but it works, and I like it. So we're the Purple Prod, and I've even over the last couple of years tried to back off a little bit on the Purple Pride marching band, and we just call it the Purple Pride because there's so much more than just marching band that goes into what we do, and that's been a goal of mine at Geraldine is to help people see that and get them to understand how much work that our kids put in all year. Because a lot of people think that once playoffs are over, we're done, but not even close.
Yeah, absolutely. So, why did they think that you might want to change the name of the band? I mean,
I don't know. That was just what I was told. It was nowhere on my radar, but that's what I was told. So we ain't gonna touch it.
so the Purple Pride.
Mhm.
I guess Purple Pride of Geraldine, maybe, or is it just
I mean, my halftime readouts when I type them up say Geraldine High School Purple Pride.
okay? So
It's
the
a
Purple
mouthful.
Pride. Yeah, absolutely. But it works out good. So, Mr. Spears, if you will, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started into the music world.
So I graduated from Douglas High School. I was in band from sixth grade on. Um, Always said that I was never going to get into education, and definitely was not going to be a band director, do music, any of that kind of stuff. Um, we went through five. The band director that I graduated under my senior year was my fifth director, 6 through 12. So I saw a lot of things that worked, a lot of things that didn't work, and helped me grow a lot and see some of the behind the scenes stuff that went on with it. But in January or February of my junior year, um, I realized how fortunate I was to grow up in the home that I grew up in, and that kind of thing, and have the family that I had. And there were a whole lot of people in the band with me that could not say that. And so um, the Lord started dealing with me and telling me that um, and kind of putting it on my heart that I was gonna need to be there for that kind of kid. Because I tell my band kids this all the time. Band kids are a different breed. Um,
Mhm.
and so there's a lot of those kids that um, I say need band a lot more than band needs them. I mean, those are the kids that I love having and I love being there for and helping to grow and give them something that they can hang on to and use for the rest of their life.
Yeah, yeah. That's a quote that Pam Smith, one of the really popular band directors in Alabama, she always said that. She always made the point. She says sometimes a kid needs band more than um, band needs the kid because it's an extension of their family that they may or may not have at home. So that's a very good point.
It's not just band; it's all sports, to be
Yeah,
honest.
Hmm.
it's
Yeah,
any activity. Yeah.
yeah.
We
They
had
need a place to belong.
we had a gentleman on yesterday from Glencoe, head football coach, but he played for Steve Smith, which was the coach at Piedmont, won I think 5 state championships out of Piedmont. But anyway, uh, he found out one year that one of his kids had nowhere to go. I think it was for Thanksgiving. So he invited the kids that had nowhere to go to come to his house, and he fed the kids Thanksgiving meal because he didn't realize he just assumed that everybody had somewhere to go or somebody to be with and all that. And so it's not just band, it's everybody. And for all the educators that's willing to do that, hats off to all of y'all that are willing to do that. That's fantastic to be there for the kids. And anyway, tell us about your family life, if you will.
So I met my wife. My wife and I are high school sweethearts. We started dating my junior year of high school. She's a couple months older than me, and just because of where birthdays fell, she was a year ahead of me. She graduated in 2014. I graduated in 15. So we've been together almost 12 years. Got married in 2018. When she graduated high school, she moved to Jacksonville for her freshman year, and then I went up there when I graduated. We got married in 2018, moved back home, back to Douglas. We actually live about 150 feet from where I grew up. Um, moved back moved back to Douglas after we graduated from JSU. Um, and we have a 2-year old Isaac who is a little pistol and is against my wishes is probably going to end up being a drummer in in the band at some point. The kid lives with drumsticks in his hand. But that's my little family. We got a couple of dogs and um, drive back and forth to Geraldine, but we like where we're at and like what we're doing, and just one day at a time, I reckon.
Nothing wrong with that. I was a basketball player, and to a certain extent, I wouldn't give anything for being able to play basketball. But the way I feel in the mornings now, when I get up and my knees are aching and creaking and all that, sometimes I wish I was in the band and I could still be playing an instrument now instead of just thinking that I could still play basketball when I really can't no more. So, Patrick, takes questions away. I know you got quite a few for them.
Yeah. So, how did your band camp go this year? Did you? I know you have a pretty grueling schedule compared to the rest of us in the county that we always joke with you about. But tell us about your band camp and how it went, and any fun activities you guys did. Just fill in some blanks there for us.
So we do have a crazy schedule. I'm a glutton for punishment. Um, our The first day of camp is usually on a Friday. We run 8 to 12, and it's just we call it our camp kickoff. We play flag football and ultimate frisbee and kickball, and I think this year we played some wiffle ball, and basically just get the kids outside, let the rookies kind of get acclimated to everybody, and make some friends before the the heavy hitting starts. And then they go home on Friday, and then on Monday morning, starting at 8 o'clock, we run 8 to 8 Monday through Friday for 2 weeks. Wednesday we're 8 to 4. So it's I in paying camp staff this year, I added it up, and it's about 94 hours of instructional time crammed into 2 weeks, which equates to about 15 and a half weeks of after school practice that we put into 2 weeks. And so I've done that for a couple of years. I've got good buy-in from the kids on it. They see the productiveness and the productivity of that schedule with the way that it's laid out. It gives me the flexibility with this wonderful Alabama weather we've got to move stuff around if I need to. Um, but we've done this for a couple of years. I think I've done some semblance of an 8 to 8 for 3 years straight. I think that first year I did like 8 to 5 or 8 to 12 or something, and then did 8 to 8 the second week. But I was telling him before Howie before we went live that one of the things that I've noticed in doing this is when the kids show up, they're there. They know they're going to be there until the sun goes down, and so nobody, including me, is checking the clock. We're not worried about when we're getting out and what we're doing and all this kind of stuff. We're just there. We get the thing done, and then go home and run through the shower and then pass out and then get up and start it all over again. This year, and Patrick, I think this goes into a couple of your other questions, but this year we're marching 43 kids. Numbers are down a little bit from what we had anticipated, but that's fine. We're marching 43 kids. 17 of those, 18 of those are first time marchers. We have a lot of rookies this year. We have 11 kids, 11 musicians total, grades 10, 11, and 12 out of 36 that are playing an instrument. So we've got a whole lot of young ones, and I didn't know what to expect going in. I've never even remotely had a rookie class that big. But we got in there and hit the ground running. Did a ton of fundamentals for a couple of days, and then started setting drill on Thursday of the first week. Put the entire opener on the field on Thursday morning. And long story short, we ended up at right before we broke for lunch on the last day of band camp. We marched and played the entire show, drill complete, music halfway decent, all the way through the entire show by the end of band camp. So I'm excited to see where we're at going forward. I mean, obviously got a lot of cleaning and stuff to do, but this is the first time I've not had to set drill once school starts, and the kids are just soaking up what I'm giving them and making it work.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're kind of on an uptick in the county, it seems, because a lot of us have a lot of new blood this year. So I think we're kind of past the COVID slump, and we're starting to see kids get back into activities. At least that's my impression so far of this year. What's your show theme this year?
Our theme is rockin' in reverse. And when I design a show, I'll pick a couple and just browse through spend a couple of days browsing through JW Pepper and pick a couple of songs and see if I can build a show around it. But this year's show, most of it was actually drafted up by my drum major. Her and in coordination with my seniors this year picked most of these pieces, and I just kind of threw them together and hoped that it was going to stick. But the title "Rockin' in Reverse" is our opener. Is Mr. Brightside, which is a 2004 release. The next song is "Pretty Fly" by the Offspring, and that is I think it's the Offspring, and that is like a 1996, 97 release, something like that. And then our closer is "Free," which is I believe 92, and then we close it out with a very short snippet of Green Day's "Homecoming," which is back to 2004. So we go back through the 90s and then jump back up to 2004. So that's where the title comes from. Probably not the most effective show title if it requires that much insight into it, but it looks good on a shirt, so that's all right.
That's fine. My show this year is classic rock cubed, and the kids it's going to have classic rock with a 3.
That works.
The kids are like, this is our third classic rock show in however many years. Yeah. So you kind of answered one question there, and you've kind of answered, but this is a 2-parter. Is there personal music interest that you go to choose? You hit a big 90s thing there, and then you answered this question, but how much student choice do you allow in the choice of music and show?
What I've done the last couple of years is I'll usually have about 3 that I think, like 3 different shows that I think we could pull off, and I'll let them vote. And usually, like where I'm leaning is what they end up picking. Last year, not so much. Some of them were ready to hit me last year when I made them do a Shrek show. But it was fun and it was interesting, and the crowd loved it for sure. But I like to give them a say so in it, and I mean, obviously, I'll overrule if I don't think it's going to be good, but I like for them to have to feel like they have a voice in what we're doing.
Yes, I believe I think it's buy-in, um,
Hmm.
because I usually bring in my section leaders and staff, and I'm like, hey, these are some kind of tunes that I'm throwing around. What do you think? And when they buy into that, I think it gives them a little more ownership to the show than if it's just thrown at them. My high school band director always gave me a motto of pick something you can listen to for at least 10 weeks.
Yeah, because you're gonna.
Because you're gonna hear it every Friday night for 10 weeks. And when I was in high school, it was 13 to 14 weeks.
And now you're at Sylvania, and it's 13 to 14
Yeah,
weeks.
and I'm back in Spain, and it's again, now 12, 13, 14 weeks. Um, poor old Bo at 5, he usually has to go 15. But yeah, you just have to find something you can listen to and go with, and that sounds like a nice little show. I'm looking forward to hearing it this year. So,
And guess what, Patrick? You get to listen to it at Geraldine for a change.
I do. It's for the
Yeah,
first time in how many years?
you finally have to get on a bus.
Because we played, and then the regions flipped, and then we played you again. And what, playoffs one year? So
Twice.
you came to us twice in one year, and
I
then you
think
came.
I was talking to him. I think we have been to you 4 times
I think that's
in
right.
3 years.
I think that's right. Yep.
So I'm glad that I get to stay in Geraldine this time.
Yeah, we get to come to you this year. So tell me a little bit about your student leadership this year. Your section leaders, your drum majors, any band captains, anything like that. Tell us about them.
Um, it's definitely a mix this year. I have one section leader who is an eighth grader.
Okay.
Because she's got the leadership chop, she's got the discipline and the responsibility for it. My I don't know how you do it, Patrick, but my leadership process is a nightmare for them. I put them in a Google Classroom, I give them all kinds of paperwork to fill out and get their parents to sign it so that their parents know what they're signing up for. And then I make them answer 10 essay questions. They have to do an interview with me and some random faculty member that I pick out of a hat. They have no idea what's going on in that interview until they get in there.
Mm.
Of course, you got auditions and stuff depending on what the section is. I send teacher recommendation forms to everybody on their schedule except for me, and then put all of that together with a rubric, and section leaders follow that way. I've made it very clear over the last 4 years to my students that I don't care about seniority. Um, I care about experience and I care about attitude. And so I've got eighth graders who try, but our leadership this year, we've got our drum major, and then we get our drum major is Courtney Williams, band captain is Layla Daniel, and she's also the clarinet section leader. Um, my saxophone section leader is an eighth grader. Flute section leader is a senior. Um, Trombone section leader is a junior. Color guard captains, I've got a freshman and a sophomore and a junior. And then my percussion captains are both seniors.
Okay.
Trumpet section leader is a freshman. I've got 6 trumpets, and the oldest one is a freshman.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd mentioned in my show this year that my band is basically a 7 through 9 band this year. I've got 3 seniors, 2 juniors, and 2 sophomores, and then everything else in my band is 9 through 7. So it's good to have those young players that show up and lead, and definitely put in the work for you. You had mentioned earlier that you've got a big project coming up. That's going to be a big, because I know I've done these before, and we're looking at it in probably a few more years at Sylvania. But tell us about this big project and what all's going to go into that.
So with the growth that we have this year, my beginner band from this past year had 21 kids in it. I had 38 marching band members last season, and 21 beginner band kids. And so what we lost a few kids over the summer, which you typically do. Kids move, kids decide that they don't want to do it anymore, whatever. Um, but I think I lost five or six seniors, and still we're still sitting at 5 members above where we were. But we're the way that recruitment has started working the last couple of years. I'm anticipating a peak of probably 65 to 70 to 75 members in the next 3 years. Problem with that, it's a great problem to have, but the problem with that is the uniforms that we are currently using were not set up for a band that size. Um, Especially with me having as many young ones as I have right now hanging on my uniform rack. I think I've got about 10 or 11 jackets hanging up, and the sizes go from a 38 XXS to a 56. There's nothing in the middle. To the point that my drum line is having to wear a different uniform this year because I just don't have enough jackets. And if we've got that problem at 43 members, we're really going to have that problem at 60. And so we're looking at uniforms down the road. Kind of already got that ball rolling a little bit, trying to get some sketches done, and see what we want to do. But once we have a sketch and have something tangible to do, we're going to have to do a huge fundraising push because it's going to run us about $50,000 is what we're going to be looking at, because we're going to price it at 100 uniforms, and those uniforms are about $100 a kid. Sorry, 100 uniforms, and they're about $500 a kid. So it's going to be a massive push. So when that time comes, anybody that's watching that can help us out with that'd be wonderful, and we'll do more pushing and stuff like that, and donation requests to businesses and all that stuff when we get closer to time, because I've never done this before.
Yeah.
But the uniforms that we've got, I think, are about 10 years old, or about to turn 10 years old. So they're wearing out anyway. And then our numbers are getting big enough that we're fixing to have to look at buying more uniforms.
Yeah, usually the general rule, most people, is usually like 10 to 12 years. But the way they do those uniforms is they come and they measure your band that you have currently.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have small kids, the uniforms are going to kind of run small. If you have larger kids, they're going to kind of run large, because it's all dumped into a computer, and the computer figures out 50 uniforms. If you order 50 uniforms, it figures 50 uniforms. If it's 100, it's going to figure that way. So it's always kind of an interesting, because I've got like us with all these young kids this year. I had a hard time fitting the young ones this year because I was needing some really, really small jackets and pants, and I didn't have a whole lot of that when we bought those uniforms. So it's interesting how all that works, and and how we have to deal with it from year to year. But good, congratulations. That'll be interesting to see the design process, and because it's you've never done it before, and unless it's changed, you'll have to get 3 bids. So you got to contact 3 uniform companies, get 3 different designs, and then you have to decide on which one you like. It's a fun process. I enjoyed it when I did mine. It was fun, but
You want to come do mine?
no. But it
I do have one request, if you don't mind. Make sure the purple pride is on the back of the jackets.
Yeah.
do it biker gang style.
There you go.
Yeah, but yeah, it's a fun process. I mean, when you do it, we Bo and I have done it at 5. We can help you through it. So it's but it is a fun process. It really is. I mean, at the end of the day, even though you sometimes want to throw it against the wall, it's still fun, because you're choosing the next image of your band for the next 10, 12 years, and it's just fun. So Let's see what else we got here. How's your band boosters this year? You got some good parent leadership and anything you want to talk about there?
I guess since they might watch this, I need to talk nice about them. Totally kidding. Yes, I have a great group. We changed the system up a little bit this year, and have gone more toward a, we call it the executive board. It sounds a lot more fancy than it actually is. But we've gone more toward a board system to where everybody just kind of does the thing, instead of you have president and vice president and all of that stuff and all the different offices. Everybody's just kind of meh, just do it. Um, but we've got some really young, like the parents of my really young kids. We've got a couple of them on the board. Had a couple of them help, not help. They were there all day long for the entirety of band camp. I didn't During band camp. I didn't ice the first water. I didn't have to move the first cooler. I didn't clean up hardly any trash. Kids did it, and parents did it, and that was absolutely invaluable. And I think that was a large reason that we were able to be as productive as we were. Is I got to focus on being the band director, and that was all I had to do. So we've got a really good group. Got several that have been doing it for a couple of years, and then several that are brand new that'll be ready to take the ropes. I'm only losing of the ones on the board. I'm only losing one of them this year. Her daughter's a senior, um, but we've got a really good group of parents coming up, and I'm excited to see where we're at. Got For the first time since I've been here, we've got some band dads that are chomping at the bit to do some stuff now. And so if I need equipment moved or need something built or something welded and all that kind of stuff, I've got people that I can call, and that's great to have.
Yeah, yeah, it's great to have that little army behind you, and that's one thing I've always liked about DeKalb County is that the communities do show up and support the schools. That we saw that Saturday night at Wingfest at Sylvania. They really came out and supported, and I mean, and all all a lot of the organizations are there. We set up booths, but DeKalb County has always been good about that. Um, let's see if I got anything else here. We got your theme, and here's a fun one.
Uh
Um,
oh.
so you at Geraldine, it's kind of like us at Sylvania. We've been going 12, 13 rounds. That's a long time
Hmm.
in football. Especially when you're. And I said this on my show. For a football team, every week is a different challenge. They watch the tape. They see the new team. For us, it's the 13th week of playing the fight song or playing Hey,
Yep.
or the 14th week. It's the show again, and how do you survive? How do you make it? As a band director, and how do you keep your kids going for so long?
Well, a lot of it with with us, we have to we play the Armed Forces medley, salute to the Armed Forces, the all the branch songs. We play that at the Veterans Day program in November. And so I mean, I'll pass that out probably no later than mid-September. So I'll pass that music out before our first marching competition. Um, but I mean, what I've done the last couple of years is, I mean, we run full blown marching band pretty much until the second week of October, and then marching band becomes let's go outside and run it from 4:45 to 5 o'clock on Thursday, and that's about it. Um, my run stand tune stuff for pep rallies and that kind of thing, but we pretty much don't mess with marching band after about the second or third week of October. Get through competition season and then call it quits and just do the football thing and transition over into hitting Veterans Day really hard, and all the while still trying to get ready for a Christmas concert too.
Mm-hmm.
So we break it up enough that it's not it's not terrible. everybody, including me, I think by about the second or third week of October, we just go on autopilot on Fridays and just do the thing and go home. And then what we do after school practices and in class and stuff is usually more concert oriented than marching.
That's a good change. I'm changing a lot of things for me this year at Sylvania, and some of the kids are excited about it. But we're doing a lot of change things like that, and we're gonna when we get through our contest in October, we're gonna flip over and start hitting concert. And I've already been running Christmas tunes by the kids, and um, y'all want to play this? You like this one? Does this one work for you? But it is a. I like the autopilot. That is, you kind of have to put that marching band on autopilot because it can get long in the tooth as it were to
Yep.
keep at it and keep at it and keep at it. So, uh, well,
I
I
got a
think
question for kind of both of y'all. You
yeah.
mentioned the Alabama weather earlier. How do y'all determine, or when do y'all decide when to actually wear your uniforms to the football games or at the football games?
You want to start?
I I used to be a first game we were in the uniform, just we were out there doing it. And I kind of noticed that I just kind of realized that I was spending a lot more money on dry cleaning. I mean, and it's
Yeah.
it's a couple $100. I mean, you get 30 kids out there, and it's a couple $100, and then you got the uniforms for color guard, and they're sweating through those things, and um, I can't remember. It's been years, but I just went ahead and I just tell the kids first couple of games. I said we're going to do some khaki shorts and a band shirt, and because I really want to when we get to our contest, I really want our uniforms to look best when we get there, and that's just kind of been my philosophy. And and I've found that most in the community, they're like, oh man, those things are hot. Yeah, I don't blame you. It's not like the old days. When I was in high school band, oh, you wore that uniform no matter what. We were in full uniform. And we weren't allowed to take our jackets off, and we had to stay in jackets. We had to stay zipped up. And but that's just been my thing for the past couple of years. Just band shirt and shorts for the first couple of games, and then when we get to September, we'll break them out and go with it.
Yeah,
How about you, Mr.
no,
Spear?
that's pretty much it. Like we had our Meet the Bulldogs. I know y'all had Wing Fest or Meet the Rams and whatever else y'all call it. Um, Saturday, we were wearing black shorts and our show shirt for this year. That's what we're wearing to this next game. Our jamboree this week, and then my plan right now is we're gonna, depending on what the weather and the heat looks like next week, we may try and get in uniforms next week. But if not, I'm not gonna lose sleep over it. We've got that bye week the week after, and then worst case scenario, we'll definitely be in uniforms that second game. Um, Whether that's full uniform or not, I don't know. Sometimes the first thing to go if I'm going to have to cut something back is the hats and the plumes, because those plumes are expensive and they do not like moisture.
No, they do not.
And so they'll stay in the trailer sometimes, and I'll just tell the kids to put their hats back on the bus and not fool with the hats and just wear the rest of the uniform. But I mean, in my experience, and this has not happened a whole lot, but in my experience, if the weather is good enough that we're at the game, we're probably going to be wearing uniforms. Um, as long as we don't have something like what happened at Geraldine's homecoming, I think in 2019, we were playing Sylvania, I think, or I don't remember who we were playing, but I was student teaching at the time, and buddy, the bottom fell out about 5 minutes after halftime.
Yeah.
And it rained nonstop for like the next 2.5 hours. It was awful. And so we're not going to be caught in that kind of stuff. But it it's just preference. My thing is I'm not you wearing those uniforms are not important enough for kids to have heat related issues. Because sometimes kids don't think that they actually have to put water into their body and have to eat and all of this stuff, and then they get out there, and even though it's already 6:30 when we get ready to march into a stadium, I mean it may still be 95 degrees first
Yeah.
couple of games, and so they're ready to have a heat stroke by the end of the first quarter.
Mhm.
So that's kind of the lens that I paint everything through.
Yeah.
Well, I know Mr. R there. He has a strict no soda in the band room during the football season and everything. Do you kind of have the same outlook on it?
I mean, I strongly encourage them to not mess with them, but I really don't police it. There's no, I mean, if the kid wants to drink Dr. Pepper, I mean, they're putting something in their body. Um, and I'm not a coffee drinker at all. So every day, I don't care what I got going on. Every day is starting with a Celsius. That's my caffeine for the day. And if I'm going to stand there and drink a Celsius, I'm not going to yell at them and tell them they can't have a Sprite. And so it's not really been an issue the last couple of years. My first couple of years at Geraldine, it was rough. We were almost October before we made it through a game without somebody not necessarily passing out, but getting real weak and about passing out. We've not had that happen since then. We did have an incident at band camp this year where a kid just got dehydrated and had to go get her some fluids and all that stuff. But it's not been an issue, and it's of all the things that I want to fight with a teenager on, that ain't it.
Yeah, I
I
understand.
I just I had an issue with it my first year at Sylvania, which is now 11 years ago, and I had to put two kids on an ambulance at an away
Mhm.
football game. And I just came back and I was talking to the kids and I was like, what have you had to eat today? Oh, nothing. What did you drink today? Well, I drank Coca-Cola all day. And it was one of the first games of the season and it was 90 degrees outside. And I just came back and I was like, when you're with me, I said, I can't control what you do when you're away from me. I said, but when you're with me, it's Powerade or water. And um, it's just something I have, when they're with me, we don't let them have it. And um, they what was the I can't what was the there was a joke I was going to tell with that, but it left my brain there for a minute. But we were at a football game. This was several years ago. We were playing Gaston up down there in Etowah County, and of course I knew the band director. We went to JSU together, and her booster president came up to me and she said, or he came up to me. And he said, "Hey," he said we got a Coca-Cola for each one of you band kids. I said, "They're not allowed band kids." And he looked at me. He said, "Man, you're strict." And I'm going to knock on wood here and hope that I don't jinx this about what I'm about to say. But he said, "Man, you're strict." And I said, "Yeah, I haven't had a kid pass out in about 5 years." And he just looked at me and he said, that makes sense. So that's just always been my policy. And I know it's
Yeah,
strict to some
I
people.
don't let them have it at games. Saturday when we were at Meet the Bulldogs was a little more laid back. Nobody really knew what was going on. That's the trial run. But I told them going into this week, like they're not. We don't eat outside of the third quarter break or when we're supposed to be eating, and they drink nothing but water and sports drinks in the stadium. And that's not necessarily because I don't want a kid passing out. That's because I don't want to have to clean Coke out of a uniform.
There is that. There is that.
So
Uh, or
y'all
hot
y'all
chocolate.
have the Geraldine last several years, under Coach Davis there. putting a lot of points up on the board. That means a running clock there in the second half a lot of times.
Mhm.
So, how do you work around that? Because I know usually during third quarter is when you let the band go and do what they want to do, go eat, drink, and all that stuff. But they got to be back by the start of the fourth quarter, whatever time it is. How do you manage to get them back in time? Because with that running clock, yeah, it's a 12-minute quarter, but that 12-minute goes by pretty quick.
Well, what we started doing last year is you can a lot of times you can tell which games are going to do that before they ever start. I mean, we know going into the season based on past experience who we're going to be playing, and it's going to be an 8 minute quarter hot clock the second half. Um, and so, like last year, we had a particular game where we were expecting that to be the case because that had been the case the last 4 or 5 times we played them. And so what we did is one of my band boosters went and bought Chick-fil-A sandwiches for everybody and had them sitting in the stadium when we got back from halftime. And so the kids didn't get a third quarter break really. They grabbed a sandwich and a water and ate it sitting where we were. And about the time they got done with that, it was time to start the fourth quarter. So we've started trying to be a little proactive on that. Um, but what I tell the kids is when we debrief after halftime and I dismiss them to go take off their uniforms and put their equipment up and all that stuff to go for third quarter break. Like at home games under normal circumstances, I usually try to tell them to be back with 2 or 3 minutes left in the third quarter. Um, but I'm also watching the clock, and if both teams decide to start the second half that they're going to run like crazy all the time, and that clock moves quick, I'm not. I don't yell at them or nothing or whatever. We play when we get enough people back into the stadium to play, and hope they all get there at a decent hour.
Yeah. Uh, a lot of times I'm on the sideline, so I try to get Patrick the word as quick as possible. I'll ask the coach, hey, what's the game plan for this third quarter? Hey, running clock. Then I'll be sure to let him know, or text text my daughter, and she'll let him know, and that way everybody knows. Try to let them know, because I know it's difficult to get everybody back in there. I'm trying to remember where in reference. Now, Sylvania is a little bit easier because the the band boosters concession stand is right there next to where the band's at. So it's like a couple steps. They're back in the stands. But then at Geraldine, I don't know. I can't remember the distance between where y'all sat at and all that. So, but I try to help Patrick out, let him know, hey, this is what's going on. Try to give him a heads up on everything, and it seems like it works out pretty well.
Yeah.
You know, our concession stand is about as far away from band seating as you can get. Bands are in if you walk into the stadium, each band sits on the far side of the bleachers, and the concession stand is to your right next to the gate.
That's right. That's right. I know it's well, kind of like what we're talking about. It's been a few years since Sylvania's been at Geraldine, so
Yeah.
it's kind of hard for me to remember the way it was. But yeah, I remember now where it's at and everything. So, but that's well, that's something we should have asked Bo when he's on, because I know they have a ton of running clock there at
Yeah.
five, and should have asked him. But you know, and their bank concession stands on the other side of the field. So I wish I could have thought. I wish I had thought about that anyway. Anyway, that's Bo's show. He missed out on that one. This is Mr. Spears' show. Let's get back to him. So, do you ever have any students to come up to you, Mr. Spears, and say, "Hey, I was at this game over the weekend. I heard this song, fight song or song, whatever. You think we could play it?" And they kind of give it to you or let you listen to it, and you will say yay or nay.
Yes, but usually the answer to that is nay because I'm not Patrick. I can't write music. Um, he can listen to it and just and it comes out. I can't do that. And so my next follow up when they say, "Hey, I heard this the other day and it was awesome. Can we do this?" I say, "Sure, find music." If you can't find music for it, then no, we can't. Um, our cheer sponsor this year, this is her second year as the cheer sponsor. They went to a cheer camp somewhere last summer or this summer, I don't remember. And then came back and was like, "We need you to play this. We need you to play this." And so I mean, I had to do some digging and found out that one of them was actually the middle section of one of the drumline cadences that we did anyway. We just had to modify it a little bit. But there's another one that she's wanting us to do that I've got to figure out if I can find some music to it or whatever, because that is not my strong suit.
Yeah, that was kind of leading into my next question. I asked Patrick last year with Miss Corbin being the cheer sponsor and all that. With you and the cheer sponsor, does she? Well, apparently you just kind of answered it. Does she come to you and say, "Hey, can you find some of this stuff?" Or, "Hey, what are you going to be playing where I can get my cheerleaders to be able to do a cheer or a dance with it?"
Yeah, she does. She she's probably ready to hit me this year though, because especially with the group that I've got and the retention and the progress that they've made. I'm trying to hit the reset button on our pep band stuff, because we have nothing that if I wanted to go to, if our basketball team makes it to the state championship and I wanted to go play at it, we have nothing under our belt right now that is short enough to go play at a basketball game.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to hit the reset button and add a bunch of small stuff to it. Um, but unfortunately, the problem with that is during band camp, I don't care about pep band. I don't care about stand tunes. My goal is halftime. And so what ends up happening is I do the stand tunes and stuff during class once school starts. And so like today I sent her recordings for about 5 of them that they've never heard before. And we're playing them Thursday night. If cheer has something for them by then that's wonderful. If they don't, that's okay too. Um, but when you're trying to hit the reset and add stuff to it, that gets finicky when you try to coordinate that with multiple organizations. But she's been good to just kind of roll with it and make it work. And the cheerleaders do, like, they do stunts and stuff like that, because our cheer, I don't know if Sylvania does or not, our cheerleaders do competition cheer too. And so they'll do stunts and stuff if we're playing a cadence that they don't know and that kind of thing. um but yeah, she has put in some requests, and I've tried to honor a couple of them. Some of them it just hadn't worked out, but I'm not dead set on anything as far as that music goes.
What is the Geraldine fight song? As far as say Geraldine scores a touchdown, what song do y'all play?
I have no idea. Your name's on it. What is it,
It's
Patrick?
it's it's Notre Dame's fight song.
Oh,
Okay.
okay, okay. All right. So what do you tell them when they score a touchdown, or they just
So what
automatically
we
know
just
what to play?
no, like we just say fight song.
Oh,
It's just
okay.
the Geraldine fight song.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, we're not cool enough to have the theme from Rocky like you people are.
Yeah.
And Patrick's name is on y'all's fight song. How is that possible?
I think he arranged it and put the score together.
Somebody somewhere in down the road is going to come into DeKalb County and they're going to find all this stuff with my name on it, because I write most of everything for Sylvania, and I've used to do most of everything for Geraldine back in the day, and it's just going to be like, who's this guy?
Wow. Yeah, you write some good stuff. I know that. I've heard of quite a few of it, which a lot of people have. But Mr. Spears, we appreciate your time, and um, you don't have any fundraisers going on at the moment, but I know you will pretty soon because of the $50,000 worth
Hmm.
of band band
Yep.
uniforms and all that. And it's crazy. I had never really thought about it until y'all mentioned it. The football team is always the only difference that they have to have is like different size pants. The jerseys are all about the same size. You might have one or two size difference, but I've never really thought about it with the band's uniforms. You can't just buy uniforms every year because it'd be
Mm-mm.
crazy, and you have to kind of get an average of the size of everybody.
Yeah, I mean, if I looked when I got to Geraldine, because I saw I saw the writing on the wall about not having enough jackets, and so I called the uniform company. I was like, "Hey, what would it take to order more of these jackets and just supplement what I already had?" And they're about $300 a jacket, and you're looking at a 10 to 12 month turnaround. So to get them here by next season, I would have to order them like last week.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's a big hairy process.
What a lot of people don't know is there's only really three major uniform companies. Am I right about this? Stanberry, Fruhoff, and
FJM.
FJM. There's only three really big uniform companies, and you got to think how many college, universities, and high school bands are ordering uniforms. And so, you're looking. Sometimes you're looking at a year, 18 months. I mean, I one of the things I let my drum major do is I let he or she design their own uniform, and it's always a 8 to 10 month backlog on that. So that is something that is definitely we have to look at it and consider with uniforms.
Wow. Well, never, that's something I've never really thought of, but yeah, I mean, it makes sense now. Um, it's crazy. And if Patrick decided he wanted new uniforms now, which I know he doesn't, but if he brought them in now with all the the head shaking out, but if he brought them in now, he's got a lot of small people in
Mhm.
there at the moment. And so if they take even an average of that, then in a couple of years they wouldn't fit because they would
Yeah.
be too small. Wow, that's things y'all you put things in my head that I hadn't really thought about, but it makes a lot of sense now, and so um, that's cool. So your band shirt this year, Miss Spears, what is it going to be, and the color theme and all that?
We've actually got them. It's a charcoal shirt. Um, actually, me being in the car, hang on a second. I might have one. I do.
There you go.
So it's a charcoal shirt. We had somebody design the band a logo a couple of years ago, and he tweaked it this time to make it rock star themed. I don't know if you can actually see that or not. Put some glasses on the bulldog. Put guitars behind it, and then the back of it is just the song list with the title, and it's pretty simple, but that they do a good job putting those together, and we got them back really early this year, so that was good. We got to use them our first public performance. We were able to wear them.
That's cool. I like that rocking in reverse, and the reverse was actually
Hmm.
backwards. That's cool.
Yep.
So how did you come up with that? Is that like you
I
get all your
didn't.
captains? Did you get all your leaders together and say, "All right, y'all come up with this," or how did you come up with your shirt?
We use a company out of Holly Pond is who we've used the last couple of years, and I literally send him a message and say, "Hey, this is my show. This is what the title is. These are the songs we're playing. I want it to say the year. I want it to say the Purple Prod presents. Other than that, I don't care. Go." And that was the first draft. That's what he came back with. So he's done a really good job. The things that he cranks out, I don't know if he uses AI or if he does it all out of his head. I don't know, and I don't care because I like it. His shirt designs are awesome, and they do good work for us, and it takes a lot off of my plate to not have to fool with it. I just say, here's the song list, here's the show title, and show me what you got.
Patrick, yours is not that easy, is it?
Yeah, I had the kids, and it was way too complex to put on a shirt. Because it was big, and I loved it. It was great what they did, but it was just way too big to go on a shirt. So we're gonna have to go something a little more simple. And I was thinking about it on the way home actually of what I'm gonna do. I probably need to get on that tomorrow while I'm at school. But yeah, those are always fun processes, and it's the same. I use a different person, but it's the same with them. I just send them the information, and they usually come out with something that's really cool, and and so it's always fun to see it come about.
That's awesome. Timothy, we appreciate your time tonight. Appreciate you coming on, talking about the Purple Pride of Geraldine, and hope you have a great season this year. Maybe not real great when you play against Sylvania, but other than that, rest of the time, maybe it'll be a great time. But have last year y'all were going to perform the national anthem together, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody told me that.
We've sort of talked about it.
Yeah.
Um, let's make it happen this year. Let's get two bands together, get them out there on the field before the game starts, and just play the national anthem together. How difficult will it be for y'all to actually make that happen?
It's my arrangement. Or unless you've changed it, it's my
No,
arrangement.
no,
So Patrick, are you actually band director at Geraldine and Sylvania, or what? I'm just
Well,
joking,
hey,
Timothy. I'm
he
joking,
writes
Timothy.
it, I teach it.
well, what it is with us having kind of small bands, up in DeKalb, I just took and I did an arrangement of it a few years ago that would fit the smaller groups, and we play it. I think Geraldine plays it. I don't know if anybody else has ever picked it up, but it wouldn't be hard. I mean, all we got to do is get them out on the field and run it through it. So we'll discuss it.
I didn't mean to put y'all on the spot right here, but
No, you're good.
Yeah.
no, I think that would be something that would be pretty cool. You do see that in colleges every once in a while, where the colleges will perform stuff together.
Yeah.
But uh, question that we ask everybody. Well, usually Patrick asks, but I'll ask this time. You went to college at Jacksonville, Marching Southerners. How do they get their name, Marching Southerners, or how does most bands get their names like that?
I have no idea. I just know it sounds cool over a speaker.
Why did you play? What instrument did you play at Jacksonville?
I played at the trombone.
Played at.
Played at the trombone. I'm not going to say that I played the trombone. But that my primary is trombone. I marched baritone for a little bit in high school, but I marched trombone at Jacksonville. But I only marched for 2 years.
So you was part of the Southerners as well. So
Mm-hmm.
how'd you enjoy it? Was it as big back then? Well, it hadn't been very long ago though, was it?
No, that was 2015 and 2016. But it pretty much was that big. I think they may be a little bigger now than they were, but it was pretty close to it.
Awesome. And I know all the points that Mr. Davis or Coach Davis and his team puts up on the scoreboard. Y'all play that fight song a lot, so y'all get a lot of playing time and kind of a little quiet time there during the third quarter. But sometimes, when the team scores, it just kind of, you don't really take nothing away from it, but it just kind of quiet there because you expect the band to fire up. But they deserve a break as well. So
Yeah.
it just but like I say, over the last few years with Geraldine being as good as they have been, a lot of running clock, 8-minute quarters, and all that stuff. So they probably hadn't been a whole lot of touchdown scored during the third quarter. But I'm looking forward to seeing the performance. And famous thing, you got 4 songs, technically 4 songs, but I think you just play a piece of one. Is that correct?
Yeah, that last one is literally like 20 seconds long.
Okay.
It was just I didn't like the way that our third piece ended, and so I needed something to splice onto the end of it to make it work. And so that's what we did.
So Patrick, what did you write for him to put on there at the end of it?
I didn't.
I'm just going to give you a hard time every time I see you from now on, Spears, about Patrick writing everything for you.
Bring it on. In all reality, though, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think you've written anything for me since I've been there. I play a lot of your stuff because you wrote it before I got there. But
That's good. You got a great band room there. We was there before the Orlando trip in there. Huge band room. Um, got a great. Yeah, let me ask both of y'all this, and then I'll let you go. Here it is, a rainy day today and everything. How was y'all able to, or what did y'all do for your practice time?
We were outside for hours.
Really?
It sprinkled on us a little bit, but like I checked the weather, it didn't appear that there was any lightning close to us or anything like that, and um, it didn't rain a whole lot. So we took advantage of the cloud cover and went out because we're marching and playing our middle tune and our closer Thursday night. Um, and so we wanted to get a couple more reps of that in. So they actually marched onto the field, um, marched onto the field and played both of those like 3 times today. So we just made it work.
So do you actually practice on the football field, or do you have a practice field?
We're on the front of the campus.
Okay. All right. Patrick, y'all have any rain today? I know. The
Oh
only reason
yeah,
I'm asking is where I was at in Fort Payne, it came a flood all day long, basically.
it rained a lot, and we had lightning. My phone kept the James Spann app kept lightning has been detected near your location, and it just kept popping. And we needed to work through some music, and so it was raining at 3, and I just made a decision we were going to stay in and rep, because we're going in our first game. I think we've got every stand tune ready, and knocking the show out, and just um, we just stayed in today because we had a good marching rehearsal yesterday. We got outside and had a really good marching rehearsal, but we just stayed inside today because our field is a little different than yours because mine is the old football field at Sylvania, and when it rains, it puddles down there on that field, and it turns into a little bit of a mud hole. And I don't want to mess up my lines that you did so well this year for me, Howie. But my place turns into a mud hole, and so I kind of have to think. Yeah, I have to think about the field and then think about all the other stuff too. So
Okay. Yeah. Well, this like we talked about earlier, especially you, Timothy, the Alabama weather, you never know what it's going to be like, and so that's kind of why I asked, because it just came a flood in Fort Payne pretty much most of the day today, and I just made an assumption it was everywhere, but apparently Geraldine didn't get a whole lot of rain today.
From 3 to 5 we didn't.
yeah.
That's cool. Good deal. Well, best of luck to you this upcoming season, like I said. And, if there's anything we can do, especially when you start your fundraising for the uniforms or whatever, any type of fundraising, if you can get it to me, let me know. We'll put it on RiverCity-Media here and get the word out to everybody, and help you out as much as possible. And we appreciate your time, and best of luck to the Purple Pride of Geraldine this year.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
And the last thing we're going to let you do is give any shout outs to anybody that you want to.
Just the community support that I've been given over the last 5 years does not go unnoticed. I can't do my job without the parents, without the kids buying in, and without the community standing behind them. The compliments that you give my kids make it back to me, um, and they appreciate it. And this is, yes, I'm the band director and I'm the only one of them, but this is not a one man show, not even close.
Yeah.
Yeah, mentioning that, I should have asked, helpers. Do you have anybody that's actually helping you this year?
Yeah, I've got some parents that help, and then I've got a couple of students that are not in the band, that are traveling with us and helping us. So we've got that covered.
Okay. And your color guard and all that, do you take care of that, or do you have someone that does that for you?
I had a tech during camp, and I have a teacher who is on staff with us right now to help for guard during the season.
Okay. Awesome. Good deal. Well, appreciate your time, and you're welcome back on here anytime. And like I say, once you start the fundraising, let us know. We'll put it on here, get the word out. So best of luck coming practice run come Thursday night at Gunnersville. So best of luck to you, and if there's anything we can do, let us know.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks. And that was for Mr. Timothy Spears, our guest tonight from Geraldine, Patrick Roselle, Howard Chaney. Good night, everybody.